Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to episode 116 of SMG Viewers Comments. Wow! Is that ever nuts? Anyway, back in the studio, I'm just doing a lot of editing for a lot of the GitCon footage I shot. Still a lot coming up there, a lot of gear demos and whatnot. I'm also working on a few tutorials for you guys. And if you're going to be in New York City in a couple weeks, I will be there at the AES convention. So New York fans, you know, hey, look me up. Maybe we can do like a dinner meetup or something like that, like I do in LA every time I drop by. Anyway, let's get right to it.
How do you fix broken potentiometer on amp?
Well, you're not really giving me a lot to go on what kind of a break it is, whether it's actually broken or it's just scratchy. And if it's just scratchy, this is what I recommend. It's called Keg Deoxit. I think I bought this can at like $98.99 and I probably used maybe a quarter of it. You just need a tiny little squirt into like a crevice on a potentiometer. It'll clean it right up. This stuff is just fucking amazing. Again, Keg Deoxit, great stuff. But if you actually have a broken potentiometer, like say something snapped off or whatnot, and you don't know what you're doing, take it to an amp tech and get it done correctly. Somebody with a good track record. Shouldn't take too long in your local classifieds to find somebody decent, or just ask around.
Damn, I never thought I'd want a Line 6 product and never thought Glenn would be the guy to make me.
Hey man, I'm not making you do anything, you're just making up your own mind. I wouldn't suggest buying anything, I'd suggest downloading the software, trying it out for yourself, and seeing if you like it, seeing if it fits your needs and your workflow. That's what I recommend, that's as far as I'll go. Whether or not that software is worth $400, if you're new to the whole Line 6 Helix regime, remains to be seen. I mean, like, it's what, $200 if you already own the floor model, which is kind of cool, I suppose. But really, again, the decision remains with you, not with me.
Even though you charge by the hour, do you still make bands pay a deposit? Also, do you or have you ever made bands sign a contract agreement saying they will pay the quoted price? Thanks from Indiana.
Generally, I'm pretty cool when it comes to that sort of thing. I'm like, if it's an out-of-town band, okay, that's one thing, get an agreement and whatnot. Local bands, it's usually, okay, guys, I don't ask for anything up front. Generally, I don't take anything until I've got a product, but you have to pay me before I give you said product. That's the real trick for all you guys out there just getting into the business and whatnot. Make sure you get paid before you hand over anything. That means test mixes, any of that shit, because once you hand that over and they haven't paid you, you'll never see that band again. That's absolutely fucking guaranteed.
When you did the mic drop, it sounded like you had a pillow or something to catch it. Haha. I guess that's how engineers do mic drops as opposed to people who don't know how to handle gear.
Of course I had a pillow. That mic's worth money. I'm not gonna drop it on the floor. What do I look like? A fucking rapper?
Great point about Gibson. I could get 2 Kiesels built to my specs for the cost of a new Gibson.
That is a great fucking point. Yeah, the Kiesel stuff's amazing. I mean, I don't own any, but I've played a few. Brandon, my good friend from Oni, he's a Kiesel player. He loves his fucking Kiesel guitars. Yeah, if you're in the market for a Gibson, maybe take a look at a Kiesel or an LTD or a Spectre or even a Chapman. There's many brands out there that build seriously high quality instruments that don't cost a fortune. It is definitely a buyer's market when it comes to buying guitars. And remember, you don't have to buy a nameplate to get a great guitar.
Glenn, hope you'll be able to quit your day job soon. What about a video on how to make a rock video on a budget without making a fool of yourself? Guess that would help. Love from France.
Merci beaucoup, mon ami. Seriously, how to make a music video on a budget without looking like a fool. That's the real trick. I don't know if I could do a video on that. I'm not really qualified to give that answer either. I did direct a few videos, you know, 5 or 6 years ago. I really wanted to get into it. That's kind of what I went to school for, aside from audio. And then I realized, you know, my buddy Gavin Michael Booth's like a way better director than me. I'm good at doing band sequences, but when it comes to telling a story with a camera, that's definitely my weak point. I'm not very good at that. There are definitely people far more talented and far more qualified to teach you that video. The best advice I can give you if you're doing a music video on a budget is don't stare at your fretboard, because nothing screams amateur hour like a band doing this the entire video.
I'm glad you made this one, Glenn, but was hoping for more technical advice. Any chance of a video on recording live shows?
Again, not really my area of expertise. Here's my advice on recording live shows. Make sure you get paid up front. I've done a couple of situations where I went and, you know, multi-tracked a band, brought all my mics, brought all my gear, spent hours and hours and hours working and never made a fucking dime because bands don't like paying for sound guys and bands definitely don't want to pay for live recordings. I got a lot of, oh, just give me a rough version. Just give me a rough version. Just give me a quick version. No, no, no. Fuck you. Pay me.
What other genres other than metal would you like to record in the future? Jazz, blues, funk, anything? Just curious.
Well, I think I heard enough blues riffs in E minor to probably suit me for the rest of my life when that week I was at GitCon. Like, seriously, guys. I would love to record a jazz trio or quartet or something like that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Jazz bands are kind of like, you know, the recording engineer's dream project. You know, set the mics up, hit record, and stay the fuck out of the way. Those guys can really play, and I would love to do a session like that. I think that would be an awful lot of fun.
Awesome video. I know you constantly talk about how charging flat rates is a bad idea, but recently my band got a chance to work with Jake Pitts of Black Veil Brides, who's a very famous guitarist and producer. He charges a very reasonable flat rate for reamping our guitar tracks, and I'm curious as to why you think he should do that. Thank you so much, and cheers from Florida.
Okay, I'm sorry there's a little confusion there. Allow me to clarify. When it comes to reamping, of course, yeah, do a flat rate, not a by hour thing. Just, you know, how much money do you want per song? Because reamping is, you know, set the amp up, you know, get the tone, hit record and let it do its thing, basically. What I'm talking about charging by the hour is for, you know, tracking and mixing an actual band project, not just like a little reamp gig. Because especially when you're tracking, if you don't charge by the hour, bands will come in and waste your time and really not give a shit about that. If you value your time like I do, yeah, charge by the hour.
Would you ever record a religious band you voiced problems in the past about your dislike of them protesting concerts? So would you?
I have recorded a religious band. I did the Betrayer album. Those guys were all, you know, pretty heavy-duty Christians. And I gotta clarify here, a lot of my very good friends are Christians. Like, I can be friends with anybody, basically. I don't have to fucking respect what they believe, but I can respect them as people. It's just, you know, when it gets into that kind of nonsense, as long as they keep it to, you know, to themselves and don't preach to me, I don't give a shit. You know, lyrically, I couldn't give a fuck. I mean, a band I really like is Theocracy, which is Matt Smith's band. Again, serious Christian band. I think the lyrics are about as stupid as, you know, your average, you know, kindergarten Satan band. But, you know what? Great music nonetheless. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. If that's what where their passion is, okay, great. As long as they're making cool music, I really couldn't give a shit.
Glenn, I noticed you put the acoustic treatment point as #1. I'm curious as to what you have to say about those who are able to achieve a great mix in a completely standard room, bedroom, living room, etc., with no treatment whatsoever. If people are able to do so, especially one of the, if not current, biggest names in the heavy music genre, then why is that you press so hard on the idea that proper treatment is a must?
Because 99% of us don't have that kind of skill set where they're able to take a mix in an untreated room and get it to translate into the real world. Most of us need help.
Can you use a compressor on a live screaming vocalist? Uncompressed screams freak me out, and I'm wondering if I can do it live. If so, what's a good model?
Well, I use a compressor all the time back here, you know, the Empirical Labs Distressor, and that's live going right into my recorder. Of course, you can use them live. If you're on a small budget, I'd suggest checking out the FMR, really nice compressor, that's pretty cheap. Or I've got the Aphex channel back here, which is a tube mic preamp, and a compressor built right in as well, and that's fantastic. I'm using that actually to do my voiceover work and a couple of my premium tutorials, which are coming up very soon. More on that in the future.
Man, you were ugly even back then. Don't kill me.
Not gonna kill you, man. You know, if you're into dudes, I'd suggest, you know, don't waste your time on my channel. Check out Grindr. It's probably much more suited to your tastes.
Hey Glenn, what is the snare drum being used in this demo of the Lewitt drum mics package? Love the show. You are just fucking awesome. Phil.
Hey Phil, that's a 6x14 Ludwig Superphonic, which is the John Bonham snare. Jackson Ward brought one in last year. I was kind of like, oh, what's this? And he's like, oh, well, this is the most recorded snare drum ever. And I'm like, yeah, you think somebody would have told me that 20 years ago when I was, you know, learning how to record acoustic drums? That might have saved me an awful lot of fucking grief. But yes, the Ludwig Superphonic, cannot go wrong with that. It just sounds awesome.
Wise old man from north of the border once said, music is not a meritocracy. Sometimes it really sucks to be right.
Couldn't agree more. All right, guys, that's about it for this week. Before I go, I just want to let you know I finally completed my very first ebook. It's Acoustic Drums for Metal, the 2nd edition. This is a reimagining and rework of my original acoustic drums from Metal Guide that I did on the Indie Sneap forum way back in 2005. It's been updated with a whole bunch of modern techniques and some really cool stuff in there, and it's yours absolutely free. All you got to do is follow the link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for subscribing. I'll see you guys on Sunday. Take it easy.